Hello everyone, I hope you are fine and welcome to another session. Today we are going to study variable and data types in Python. In previous sessions I described briefly about what variable is, and today we will dive deeper and also we will study data types in Python. Okay. So what is a variable? Variable means متغير in Persian. Okay, variable is a name we give to store some data. What does it mean? Let me give you a demonstration so you understand it better. In computer we are working with data. Okay, data means you are working with numbers, you are working with text, you are working with other types of data. Okay, so variable, suppose this is the computer memory. When we say variable, we give a part of memory, we reserve part of memory to store some values. For example, when I say a is equal to 5, it means that I reserve this part of memory is equal to 5. I reserve this part of memory and assign a value 5 and give it name A. Okay, A is equal to 5. It means that this part of memory, this one, this part of memory, we give it a name A and A is equal to 5. It means that you stores the value 5 inside this part of memory. Okay, we give it a name A. This is called variable. Variables can store different values. For example, you can store text. For example, B is equal to, I store text, for example, cover. Okay, so I give this value in this part of memory. I reserve this part of memory for the value cover. This is called variable. It is container which stores value. Okay, we reserve this part of memory for the value for the text cover and we give it a name B. So in the future I will ask computer to please display the value of B, the value inside B, which is Kabul. Okay, I hope you can understand that. As we said, think of it like a box with a label. Okay, the label is a variable name and the box content is value, like that. So it contains some values. This is called variable. Okay. Okay. Where do we use variable to remember values in our programs? Okay, let me demonstrate. I open my VS Code. I create a file, Python file. So I say, for example, A is equal to 5. And I want print that. You can save this. Inside mode, I name it variables. Okay. Okay, as I said, I stored value 5 inside memory, which I named that A. And right now, I want Python to represent that value. Okay, I say, hey, please represents the value which is stored inside A. So I run my code. You can see the value 5 is represented here. Please keep in mind that, as I said, variable, it is changeable, okay? It means it is changed. The Python show you the last variables. For example, here, if you want to, in this part of memory, if you want to store other, for example, the value 6, what computer does is that it only represents the last value. For example, A is equal to 3. Right now, guess which value will be represented, displayed. As I said, the computer is looking for the last value. It stores the last value and it is replaced by this one. Value 5 is replaced by this one. So right now, the computer represents the value 3. Okay, let's see. You can see right now it displays 3. That's what is called variable. It is changeable, okay? And also for the next example, I say I want to store text cobble inside my memory and in this part of memory, and I name this part of memory B, okay? You can name it B, you can name it, for example, name, you can name it city or something like that. So for example, I name this part of memory city, okay? City or B, whatever you call. City is equal to cobble. Now, what I'm trying to do is I'm asking computer, okay, hey computer, please represent the value of city, okay? I simply print city. You can see it represents the value city, which is cobble. So this is called variable. I hope you understand that. Now we understood what variable is, and okay, we have some rules for naming variable. I also described it in previous lessons. As I said, it must start with a letter or underscore, okay? Please always keep in mind that the variable should be started with a letter. Doesn't matter it is capital letter or it is a small letter. So this is a valid variable name. For example, city, this is a valid variable name. If you run your code, it displays the value because this is valid variable name. And also we say that it should be started with underscore, okay? For example, if I add underscore at the beginning of this variable, if I want to represent, the computer runs my program because this is a valid variable name. You can see cobble is displayed. The variable should start with the letter or underscore, okay? And also this is not a good variable if you start the variable name with number. Right now if I want to display that, the computer gives me error because this is not a valid name. Let me run that. You can see syntax error, invalid decimal literal. So the variable never starts with number. Okay, you should understand that. Right now if I want to run my code, you can see it is running correctly. No space allowed, so always keep in mind that we studied the concept of indentation. Okay, indentation means a small space at the beginning of the code. For example, if I say q is equal to 4, now if I want to run that q, so it's working because my code is correctly indented. It doesn't have space. Right now if I want to create a small space, the program is not working because the indentation is not correct. Okay, if I run my code, you can see indentation error. So you have to fix that. Okay, so we have we also said that in Python Python variable is case sensitive. It means that the variable h with the variable h which starts with small letter are different. What does it mean? Let's call a variable h, for example 12, and another h which is, for example, 5. Now the Python consider these two variables as a difference variables because they starts with capital and small letter. Right now if I want to print the value of h, and also I want to print the value of h, you can see these two different numbers. Okay, you can see 12 and you can see 5 because in Python it is case sensitive. Case sensitive means these two h's are different. Okay, so this is some examples. As I said, this is good to variable names because it starts with letter, and also this is not good variable names because it starts with number. Okay, coming into data types in Python, we understood what variable is and how to name it correctly. Now we will describe what data types are in Python. As you know that we have different data that we store in memory. For example, we have numbers, we have, for example, decimal numbers. Decimal means in Persian adad ashari, and we also have some characters. For example, Afghanistan, we have hello. These are text. In Python we call it string. Okay, string is character or set of characters. We also have some values which are true and false. This is called Boolean. Okay, in summary, data types defines the types of data that we stores in memory. For example, here the type of this data that we stored in this part of memory is integer because this is number 5. Okay, And also the data that we stored in this part of memory, it is text. So this is called a string in Python. Okay. So we have a float. Float also, we are working with floats, for example, with decimal numbers. And we also have data types, which is called Boolean. Boolean is true, either true or false. Okay, let me give you a demonstration. Now, okay, this is integer. Okay, this type of data that we store in memory is integer. Both of them are integer. For example, if you want to do some operations, you simply print, for example, h. You want to do, for example, additions operations, for example, plus h. Now if I want to print that, it adds this to value. You can see 17, the value. So if I want to know the type of this variable, you can simply write type and the name of that variable, h. As I said, this is integer, so right now it should be displayed integer, the type of this. You can see class integer. Okay, this is how you can understand the type of your data that you store. For example, if I want to as decimal or float, now if I want to check the type of this variable, it should be showing float. You can see this is how you check your data types in Python. And also let me give you a boolean type, for example, or a string, for example, ct equal to, keep in mind that you always store a string inside double quotes or a single quote, for example, cable. Okay, you can also store a string inside double quote. It doesn't matter, Python consider that as a string. For example, country Afghanistan. Right now, if I want to print city and also print country, it should be working and displaying these two values. Right now, you can see Kabul is displayed and Afghanistan is displayed, because whenever you write or stores a string, so you have to place that inside double quote or a single quote. Okay, now if I want to check the type of the data types, I simply write type. Now it should be displaying, for example, a string. You can see class string, because this is a string. Okay, and for the boolean data types, whether it is true or false. For example, today it is sunny. Is sunny, the value it stores is true. Okay, now I want to print that. now it should be displayed true. You can see true. Okay, for example, today is not sunny, it is, for example, cloudy. Today is not cloudy, sorry, it is cloudy. It is false, okay, because it is sunny today. Now if I want to print is cloudy, it should be false. Okay, you can see it is true and false. This is how you can store data, and right now you understand the data types. The data types is the types of data that you store and you're working in Python. Okay, this is the types of data that you store in memory. For example, you have a whole number which is called integer. It is integer. Okay, int means integer in Python, and float, it is a decimal, أعداد عشرية. And also we have for characters and for strings, for text we have a string, and for the true or false we have Boolean data types. There are some examples. You can see 5 is integers, so this is the value of pi, which is float, and it is Boolean. I also taught you how to check the data types. You can use a command function type and then the name of the variable, so it will display the types of the data, the variables. Okay, and thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next session.